One. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the 12th installment of the T&C Sports Podcast. As always, I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Fire Troy. Like, subscribe, and enjoy the video.
Yes, sir. And I'm Logan Cross. And today we got an action-packed episode. A lot of interesting games that went on this week in the NFL, and then a lot of news coming up for the NBA, which the preseason actually starts tonight. So let's start out with the NBA. As a lot of you guys may know, James Harden has been spotted everywhere except for training camp. He missed the first day of training camp due to personal reasons, even though he was spotted at some strip clubs and some clubs around the city. What do you think about this? How is this going to affect Houston if he stays there?
I think that's gonna make every teammate and every person in front office concerned because it's like, oh, he really rather be partying and be with his friends than be at work. And for him, I think he did that just to try to get Houston even more mad so they could trade him as well.
Yeah, that's a solid point. If I was his teammates, I would definitely be mad. And I have seen a lot of stuff going. He's making his ex-teammates look very good. For example, Chris Paul and Russell Westbrook. Um, Everybody was kind of blaming them for Houston's inability to be successful. But now it's kind of shifting the focus to Harden due to the fact that he's missed practice. And all these guys are on new teams kind of leading them already. Um, I don't think I've said too much on the Russell Westbrook thing in DC. At first, I was upset that we traded, John Wall. But I don't know, I've kind of grown to it. I'm excited to see him play. We play on Sunday, so that should be good. And he seems happy to be out of Houston. He was reported to want out, so he got out. And now John Wall, how do you think John Wall's going to fit over there in Houston?
I think it's gonna be amazing, man. This dude been out for 2 years. He's hungry. I believe him and Harden are gonna be a good combo while it lasts. I still believe Harden's gonna get traded, but John Wall is gonna be one of the elite players. He will be most improved player 100%, in my honest opinion. And he's gonna I think he'll take Houston to I'm gonna say the second round.
Yeah, obviously, John Wall spent a lot of time in DC. He was my favorite player growing up until Bradley Beal kind of started to surface. So obviously I want to see him do good. But, it's going to be tough. He came off two serious injuries. He just had a foot problem and he got surgery on that. And then right before he came back, he tore his Achilles, which is, it takes away your explosiveness. And that's really what he relied on a lot of the time. So it'll be interesting. It looks like he improved his jump shot a little bit, which is obviously what Houston likes. I'm excited to see how he does. It'll be interesting to see comparing how him and Russ do and now in their situations. So that should be fun. Who do you anticipate will do better, Russ in DC or John Wall in Houston?
I think John Wall will do better in Houston because John Wall is more versatile. He has more speed, more strength, and he has a really I think he has like a better atmosphere and a better viewpoint of basketball in Houston than in DC. Like, get me wrong, like in DC he was amazing, but I just think Russell Westbrook, I don't think he'll get acclimated yet this year. I believe he would want to be the number one guy. Like, oh, he's gonna probably take points and minutes away from Bradley Beal. But yeah, I mean, I just think John Wall is gonna really share the spotlight with James Harden. I just don't think Russell Westbrook will want to with Bradley Beal.
Yeah, well, obviously, I'm coming from a little bit of a biased standpoint, being a Wizards fan. And what I've been hearing from our media is that Russ is all in helping Brad become a better player. And he wants to see the players succeed. And I'm super excited. I obviously think he's going to do really well. He might not average 30 like he was, but I think our offense is going to be better fit for him than the Houston offense was because they were a lot of, space out and shoot the three and ISO. That's not entirely Russ's game. He likes to create, pick and roll. He's not a great ISO player. Obviously, he's, one of the better players in the league, but he's not, like a James Harden at the ISO, obviously, or Kyrie Irving. So I think he'll fit in our offense well. I think Bradley Beal's still going to be the number one option scoring-wise, but I think obviously Russ is going to be that number two, and he's also going to rack up assists and, get rebounds like he always does. So I'm excited to see that. I'm excited to see the dog in Russ, and I'm excited to bring the dog to, Bradley Beal, even though he already is the dog, but it's just going to open him up more, and then the rest of the team, especially Rui and, Denny, the rookies. So I'm excited. Our first game Sunday, as I said before. It's preseason, though. it'll be, I'm gonna watch. Obviously, it's against the Nets, so I'm gonna tune in, see how they play. I'm sure he'll only play, a little bit, but it'll be fun to watch. So that's all I really got to say. And as we were talking about James Harden, he recently talked to the Houston front office and, was talking about them about other places he'd be willing to be traded to. And some of those he threw in were the Heat, the Sixers, and the Bucks. Now, from the outside in, where would you want to see him go out of those three teams? Where do you think he would be best fit?
I think he would be best fit in Philly, in my honest opinion. I don't think he would fit in Milwaukee or Miami because Miami has Jimmy Butler. I do not think Harden and Jimmy Butler will work good together at all. And in Milwaukee as well, him and Giannis, I just don't think him and Giannis will really get along with who gets the ball, who plays point, and who really does most of the scoring. But in Philly, he can really get the ball to Embiid, Simmons, Tobias, Thibault, and make a whole team obviously better.
Yeah, I also agree. I think Philly is the best option for him. Honestly, I think Philly would have to get rid of Ben Simmons. I was looking at some trade packages for the teams. The trade package was Ben Simmons. I'm forgetting the other player, Matisse Thybulle, and then a first-round pick. I think that's the best, package that you could probably offer. I'd rather keep Embiid than Simmons, so I agree with that trade package, especially if you're trying to bring in Harden. I would not want Ben Simmons being on the wing with Harden. I'd rather have Embiid setting screens and popping out, shooting them threes. But also the Heat, the trade package that the Heat would have to give up, I don't even think they would accept, because they would have to give up so much just to get Harden, because the Heat don't have that one superstar. They have a bunch of really great players. Bam's, an up-and-coming superstar. Jimmy Butler's borderline superstar, but you know what I mean, top tier. So they would have to get rid of basically their entire bench. Per se, Tyler Hero, Kendrick Nunn, Duncan Robinson. They would have to get rid of all those guys, and I really don't see them doing that. Granted, that's what got them to the finals. So I don't think they'll be willing to do that. And for the Bucks, I'm not really sure. They would probably have to get rid of Middleton. And a few other, younger guys I don't know. They already traded DiVincenzo, so not DiVincenzo. So they have to get rid of some younger guys, which I could see happening, but I just think he'd fit better overall in Philly, like you said.
Yeah.
Let's see. Speaking about Milwaukee, the what's it called? The contract extension talks with Giannis have come to a standstill, and they are silent. Giannis said that he's not even thinking about that right now. If you're a Milwaukee fan, how does that news make you feel?
I would be upset, and I would be kind of this is crazy, because if a dude really says silent, he's not going to sign it. He does not want to stay. A player that would want to stay would be like, oh, I'm here to stay, or I'm going to sign this extension. But since he's making it silent and really not talking about it, I just believe he wants Milwaukee to be like, he's gonna sign it. But at the end, he's gonna go on the contract extension day and say, I'm not signing it.
Yeah, I would definitely be worried too. You just saw Paul George, get a contract extension. You just saw Jason Tatum, De'Aaron Fox, Donovan Mitchell. I would be kind of on the edge of my seat and kind of convinced that Giannis wants out, because you see all these players, and he would get a supermax. He would get a lot of money. I don't know. It seems like Giannis he's holding out. He probably is going to wait till after the season and test the waters. So it'll be interesting to see what he does. It's not looking good, at least for the contract extension. I'm not going to say I don't know what he's thinking, obviously, for the, where he's going to sign after. But I would be very worried if I'm a Bucks fan. Gladly, I'm not. So.
Yeah, but also on that standpoint about Milwaukee in that situation, who do you think would give up their whole team for Giannis? For them to be elite.
Well, you mean in free agency?
No. So like you know how like so with Milwaukee's standpoint, I believe there can't be that dumb of letting Giannis go with getting nothing in return. I would believe they would trade him and get a whole package for them so they wouldn't think Giannis was a waste.
Yeah, I agree. If they should talk to Giannis, maybe, they probably would have to probably would wait and till next offseason, and then something like Kevin Durant did with the Warriors, do a sign and trade. So he'll sign a big deal, and then they'll trade him to, like they did for Kevin Durant. They traded him to the Brooklyn Nets for D'Angelo Russell and, I think a pick, or, just so they got something. So I could see Giannis doing that, especially because I feel like he loves the city of Milwaukee. I feel like he wouldn't, kind of leave him like that. And he'd even get a supermax because he'd be getting paid. Just to go to another team. It just, would Milwaukee be willing to do that in the end?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a good point. I really like that. And then something LeBron brought up on a podcast, I forget whose podcast. He said that he has been a part of the two most difficult championships in NBA history. What do you think about that?
I don't believe that. I believe that's not really true. I mean, the 3-1, don't get me wrong, that was one of the hardest ones you could ever be in. But with the Miami one this past year, I don't believe that was that hard because Miami had a lot of players injured. They did not really have their whole team the whole finals. And I just believe that's kind of an understatement. I believe, yes, you could say the 3-1, he come back from 3-1. Yes, that was very hard. But I could think of 5 or 6 finals that were harder for other players to win other than LeBron versus the Heat in the past years.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to 100% agree with you. The 3-1 finals, I could give it that 100%. That was one of the most, if not the most difficult one to ever win. But as far as the COVID, COVID championship, the road was not too difficult. Yes, the circumstances were different. Nobody had ever been through it, but honestly, everybody had them winning. I would not call that a difficult one. Basketball wise, maybe, off the court wise, honestly, I mean, the resort looked top notch anyway. So I would have loved to play there. I don't know if that was hard for the players or not, but I wouldn't consider that a top 10, top 20 most difficult finals ever. The Miami Heat put up a fight, don't get me wrong, but they were really overmatched. So I can't give them that one. I can give them 1 out of 2. If you want to talk about hardest finals, I would debate that the one Dirk won over Miami back in the day. So I mean, he maybe that one that he lost. I don't know. No. The next thing is we're gonna stay with the Lakers here. Pau Gasol. Everybody knows he's been supporting the Bryant family a lot since Kobe's death. He's considering about making an NBA comeback with the Lakers. I'm not sure how old he is. I want to look that up. But what are your thoughts on hearing that?
I think he could be a mentor, honestly, like for like Montrezl Harrell and any of the other centers on that team. I just don't think he would really go there to play because his brother's already going to be starting center anyway. They did the same thing in Milwaukee with Robin Lopez and Brooke Lopez.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think I think that's a great like mentorship aspect, but I don't think that's really a great move for a player standpoint.
Yeah, honestly, I could see them bringing him in as kind of like Jared Dudley, that's kind of having that role. Just kind of being there, being a mentor for the team, kind of helping him out. He is 40 years old, by the way. If you can't see that, but he's 40 years old. I could see him going in there and being that mentor, kind of assistant coach, player coach on the bench, and kind of, helping things run smoothly. But playing, I don't know. I'd like to see him, see how good he is, but we'll see. That'd be an amazing story. I love Pau Gasol. He's been a great player, obviously. He was a great player for many years in this league. And especially seeing the two brothers on the team would be cool. And then one of my favorite players in the league to watch, Stephen Curry. he's talking about he's in contract extension with the Warriors, which we should all expect. He's one of the most loyal players in the league. I'm happy for him. He obviously wants to stay in Golden State his entire career, and he deserves it. He definitely deserves it. I'm not sure how much they're going to offer him because he is 32.
Yes.
So we'll see. I'm sure he'll get a good chunk deal, but I don't know. He'll probably get a max, but not a super max. Because at this point, he's still top 5 player in the league, but top 5, top 8 player in the league. But do you want to give him a super max if he's 32? The super max would end when he was 37. So, I don't know how I would play that. What do you think?
I think I would give him. I'm gonna totally agree with you. I would not give him a supermax because you have to understand, like the last 2 years, he's been injury prone. He's had an ankle injury last year. The year before that, he was out like half the season. So I just think of his age and of his statue. I just would give him like the regular extension and just just see like where it goes from there.
Yeah, so we'll see how that plays out. Obviously, we fully expect him to stay in Golden State. It'd be really a complete surprise if he ended up anywhere else, considering how beloved he is by the fans and the owners. Honestly, I could see the owners just, giving him what he deserves, because he was kind of underpaid for the first couple years of his career, first like 5 years of his career. And, he recently just got the bread. So I don't know. He earns it. We'll see. I think this year, if he plays, MVP level, I think I could see them definitely giving me a supermax though.
Yeah.
And then Trae Young, I don't know if you saw this, got a shoe. He's getting a signature shoe with Adidas. So that should be interesting. I know Harden's an Adidas athlete. Who else is an Adidas athlete that you know off the top of your head?
Damian Lillard.
Isn't Donovan Mitchell?
Yes, he is as well. Yes.
Derrick Rose. So we'll see. I don't think they've released a model, but good for him. Trae Young, they got him. Adidas got him really young. It's going to be his 3rd year this year. So we'll see. He could be averaging 30 and 10 this year. He averaged 29 and 9, I think. So big things for Trae Young. Congrats to him. All love. He earned it. And then the last thing, which I think is the most interesting, and I know you're gonna like this, being a big Seattle area fan. An NBA insider believes that the NBA will expand and add another team or two. Now, obviously, the NBA should add back the Seattle Supersonics. What do you think about that? How would you feel?
I would be ecstatic. I'm a whole Seattle fan. I've been to one Supersonics game. It's been a long time. It's been years in the making.
Hey, show them the hoodie.
Oh yeah, I have a Seattle Sonics champion hoodie.
Show them the sleeve.
And then it has Seattle on the side, and it has the year we won. That was the last year we won, 1979. And I just believe, we're building a brand new stadium for our brand new hockey team as well, coming 2021. We'll be in the Pacific Division, but I believe we are a great city for sports, and I think we need a team back.
Yeah, and Seattle, everybody talks about how they should still be a team, and they were good. They obviously Russ and KD. Actually, I don't know if Westbrook played on there, but I know KD spent a season on there, and then they changed it, moved it to Oklahoma City. But if they added one team, they would probably have to add another team somewhere to kind of even it out, make it 32 teams. Where would you want to see another team added?
So I have 2 places they could add one. So they could add one in Nashville where the Titans play. That's one option. Another option, they could add one. I'm going to say they could add one in Jacksonville as well.
Ooh, Florida. Okay.
Yeah, you just add another one in Florida.
I like that. I think, I'm gonna go a little global. Not too far, obviously. I'm gonna say they should either add another one in Canada, maybe Montreal, or somewhere kind of near the border, or maybe even throw one in Mexico. Or that'd be interesting. Maybe New Mexico if they want to keep it in the United States. But I think that'd be interesting. Kind of open the doors for more, more viewership. I don't know. That'd be fun to see. I don't know what logos or team names they would come up with. Um, I don't know. They'd have to figure that out, but those are just some options. I would love to see that.
Yeah, I would too. Yeah, that's a great point.
You ready to talk about some NFL, man?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Big week in the NFL, at least for my team. But on your team, you wanna take me through what happened in that big upset to the New York Football Giants?
Yes, I can. So we played the Giants. The final score, Giants won 17-12. We underestimated the Giants. We really thought we were going to blow them out 50-0. Our players did really not play well. I mean, DK Metcalf had a great game. I mean, he only got 6 targets, 5 receptions. Lockett caught the ball. But the one problem is it's kind of Russell Wilson, because I believe he needs to really get his pocket awareness back, because he used to be amazing at that. These past couple weeks, his pocket awareness has been terrible. I mean, he has not thrown the ball out of bounds. He's thrown the ball bullets 2 yards ahead of him. I think he just needs to get more aware of his surroundings and who could get the one-on-one balls and who can't. So it just depends on what we do next week versus the New York Jets.
Yeah, that New York Jets game should be kind of one of those games where you could kind of get things back to where they were. At least you hope. But this Giants game, the Giants, their defense is the real deal. The Seattle defense obviously looked good too, because they had them to 17 points. But the Giants' offense is mediocre, and Colt McCoy was playing. But this one's not on the defense. It was more on the offense. Seattle couldn't get anything going. As you said, Russell Wilson was taking some sacks he shouldn't have. Maybe that's because, his offensive line is the worst, one of the worst in the league, if not the worst. But, you can't have that happening. Russell Wilson is one of those quarterbacks where, even though his line's terrible, he's usually good at getting out. And obviously, like you said, he wasn't doing that. Yeah, just a big loss. I really needed y'all to pull through, and, you let the Giants beat you guys. They beat us twice, so I can't even say anything. But as far as Washington, we had a big little win versus Pittsburgh, 23-17. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I low-key thought we could pull this one out. Now, I'm not gonna say I was fully convinced we were gonna pull it out, but I thought we had a fighter's shot, and our defense came in there and they played extremely well, and our offense, pulled up in we were getting beat 14-0, and then our offense decided, let's score some points, get back in this game, and our defense finished the game out. And it was awesome to see. Sadly, McLaurin only had like two or three catches for like 14 yards, so he got clamped up. But he's going against a great corner, Joe Hayden. And I was surprised our offense, even though we only put up 23 points in the second half, we were really moving the ball against a very good Pittsburgh defense. So I know they had a couple injuries. I forget who got hurt. I think Joe Hayden got hurt in the second half.
Yes, he had a concussion.
Yes, and then I know another player got hurt. It was one of their linebackers who's pretty solid. I think it was like Spindle or something. I might be wrong, but it was something along those lines.
Yeah.
But overall, great game. Hopefully this kind of boosts our momentum this week against the 49ers. Another good team, solid team. The 49ers are very injured, so hopefully we could pull that one out. We're going to be playing Arizona because 49ers Stadium, I don't know, they're not allowed to play there. So we'll see how that goes. We'll talk about that when we make picks. So I was just really happy with the week. Hopefully we can keep the momentum going. We need the Giants to lose. They got a really hard schedule, though, coming forward. Ours is not easy either, but it's a little bit easier than theirs. So hopefully we can capitalize, and because we can't finish the same record as them. We have to be one game ahead of them because they beat us twice. So it'll come down to the wire. The next thing, I know you're a big fan of this guy, Dez Bryant. He was scheduled to play against Dallas, his former team, on Monday night. And then just before kickoff, came that he tested positive. And then he went on Twitter and he tweeted that he was going to quit and he was done for the season. What was your take on that? Just being a big fan of him, and how would you take that news?
I just think, I mean, honestly, I would be kind of disappointed with Des Bryant because it's like, you get a positive test. Lamar got a positive test. He was out 10 days. And I mean, he came back and played great. I mean, Des Bryant just had one mistake and he just wanted to call quits. And I just don't agree with that. I believe he took like the easy way out and he shouldn't have.
Yeah, obviously. What was I gonna say? So in the last 2 days, he also tweeted out that he had false tests or like negative tests come back. So maybe it was a false positive, which still held him out, sadly. But you can't do that. I think it was kind of just an in the moment thing where he found out he was positive, he couldn't play against it. He really wanted to play against his former team. So he was pissed and he took to Twitter, was tweeting out how he felt and said he's done. I do think he'll, this isn't the end of Des Bryant. I think he'll play in like a week or two. I just think he needed to let those emotions out and, kind of rethink, over the past few days. I'm sure he's been rethinking and I'm sure he'll be back. So hopefully he does. And he only caught like a couple passes. So I would love to see him back with the Ravens. Hopefully, helping their offense because their offense looked pretty good, even though the Dallas defense is bad. And if Des Bryant gets a big role in that offense, I think they could take it to the next level too. The next thing, Jalen Hurts is going to be taking over for Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz was benched recently in this last week against Green Bay Packers. Jalen Hurts came in, threw a touchdown. It looked pretty solid. What do you think about the benching of Carson Wentz and Jalen Hurts starting this week against the New Orleans Saints?
Now, if any Eagles fans are watching this, I'm not going to throw no hate, but I've never liked Carson Wentz, in my honest opinion. I just never liked him. I mean, give it to him. He was the second overall pick. I'm going to give that to him, but I think it's time for him to go to another team or just find somewhere else to be. But I think in Philly, I think it's, I honestly think it's Hurts' time to shine.
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of, even though I'm in the same division, I've always kind of liked Carson Wentz. So it's kind of sad to see, and I honestly do not think it's all of his fault. But I am excited to see Jalen Hurts play. I do think they should have put him in. So it'll be fun to see. He is going against a pretty good defense in the New Orleans Saints. So maybe they should have waited it out. But they decided they need to make a change now, so they're going with Hurts this week, and I'm gonna be hoping he plays well. I mean, he looked solid in the fourth quarter. He did have one interception, but it was tipped up. It wasn't his fault, but he had a beautiful dime on 4th and 18, and he also had a beautiful dime on his first drive, which was like a 30-40 yard completion. So yeah, that should be fun to see. He's a better runner than Wentz. I do think Wentz is a better thrower, but he's not that much behind. So it should be fun to watch. I'm definitely going to tune into that game. Let's see. As you know, the Raiders beat the Jets on a last-second touchdown. And because of that play, the Jets fired Greg Williams. Obviously, the Jets are in a complete disaster, 0-12. What were your thoughts when that play happened? I know he scored with 5 seconds left. They ran an all-out blitz. Just what was your thoughts?
I don't know what the defensive coordinator was doing. I think he was trying to get the pleasure of sacking Derek Carr, but they have one of the fastest wide receiver cores in the league, and you do a man-to-man zone. Yeah, like a man-to-man blitz, and I just believe and they didn't even touch Derek Carr. That was the sad part. They sent 6 dudes in there, and none of them even touched Derek Carr. Then Henry Ruggs just ran past everybody and scored a touchdown to win the game.
Yeah, there was no help over top. They could have at least left one safety to help, and they did not do that. They left everyone man on man, one-on-one, no help. Obviously, Ruggs is one of the fastest players in the leagues. He ran the fastest 40 dash. Did he run the fastest? Or he's like
ever?
second or third?
You mean like ever or like in a draft?
The draft. He's
Third.
like second or third though.
Yeah, third. Yeah.
He's got like a 4.22, 4.25. You can't do that. No, that's just unacceptable. And deservingly, he got fired. And I'm sure the rest of the Jets staff will be following him after the season. So, and another thing, Aaron Rodgers became the fastest quarterback to throw for 400 touchdowns. Which I'm a big A-Rod fan. So I'm happy for that. My dad he likes the Packers because Aaron Rodgers. So it's fun to see. And I want to say this about Aaron Rodgers. If I had to pick one quarterback in their prime, best thrower of the ball, best quarterback of all time, I would pick Aaron Rodgers over anybody.
Yeah.
The way he throws the ball, the way he manipulates defenses is just crazy. He has the most touchdowns not the most touchdowns. He has the best interception to touchdown ratio, or one of the best. For how many touchdowns he has over 400 touchdowns now, and he has 80 interceptions. That is ridiculous. That's over 4-1 or under 4-1 touchdown interception ratio. So, I mean, that's just my opinion. I would pick Aaron Rodgers. If you had to pick one besides Russ Wilson, I know that would be tough not to pick him. Yeah. Who would you pick?
I would honestly pick Aaron Rodgers too. I think I would go with Aaron Rodgers, or I'll probably go with old faithful Michael Vick, honestly, like in his prime.
Michael Vick is a good one. He could throw and he could run like Lamar. I like that pick too. Let's see what else. The Browns have secured their first winning season in 13 years. They are 9-3, looking like they're going to get a playoff spot locked up. Do you think they're a legit team? They just beat – who did they play this week?
Tennessee Titans.
They just beat the Tennessee Titans. Do you think they're legit?
I think they are, because out of Tennessee, Derrick Henry has literally ran through every defense that's ever come in front of him. But to have 60 yards versus the Browns are no joke. I believe Odell sitting on the sidelines improved them tremendously. In my honest opinion, I believe they could beat Baltimore on Monday night, and they could score a playoff spot going to Buffalo or to Kansas City.
Wow, I love that take. I really think the Browns are underrated. Even though they have a 9-3 record, a lot of people still, don't show respect. Baker's been playing good as of recent, and the running game has been insane too. Nick Chubb averages the most yards after contact, and he averages one of the most yards per carry in the league. So, and then they also have Kareem Hunt backing him up. So their rushing attack really just takes the pressure off Baker Mayfield's shoulders. And as you saw, they got out to a 38-7 lead over the Tennessee Titans. That is ridiculous. And I do think they might even get a win or two in the playoffs. And I think, hey, maybe they could shock the world, go to the AFC Championship. Because I could honestly see them beating Pittsburgh based off how they played.
Exactly. I 100% agree with that too.
Mm-hmm. And the last thing, topic-wise, I wanted to, look at before we make picks for the next week, or if you want to bring up any other topic, is, do you think Michael Thomas is back? This week he had 9 receptions for 105 yards. Even though Taysom Hill's throwing on the ball, do you think he could continue this? Because he even though he was hurt for the majority of the season, the games he did play in, he was not putting up numbers.
They played Atlanta, correct?
Yes, they played Atlanta twice in the last 3 weeks.
I believe it's just a one-time thing, because honestly, Atlanta does not have good defense at all. They do not have a good corners at all. So I believe that was probably just a game for like a pick-me-up. But I mean, he plays Darius Slay next week, and Darius Slay knows from his mistakes. Michael Thomas does not go deep. He only goes in routes. And Philly's linebackers are very good. So I'm going to expect Michael Thomas to have like probably 40, 50 yards this week. I mean, not to like throw you any shade on fantasy, Logan, but I believe that was like a one-game thing.
No, I can't hit on that, because they played Atlanta 2 weeks ago, and he had basically the same stat line. So I'm not going to expect too much going into this week in fantasy. I'm going to have to agree with you. I don't think he's fully back because he hasn't been getting as many targets as he normally would. So we'll see how that plays out. Hopefully he can. But hey, let's get into picks. It is Friday today, but we made picks before the game yesterday. So I'm gonna pull up the games and then we'll go through the picks. So the picks we made were from Thursday, before the game on Thursday night. Just remember that. All right, the first game, Patriots-Rams. We both went with the Rams here. I'm just gonna get that one out the way.
Yes.
We went with the Rams here. Before we get into the picks, I know I just said the first one, but I want to go over the standings for everybody in there, which is me, Davin, Fayed, and Bap. My record is 96, 49, and 1. And last week I went 11 and 4. Davin's record is 91, 54, and 1. And he went 9 and 6 last week. And then Fayed went 10 and 5 last week, and his record is 88, 57, and 1. So he's only 3 games behind now. He moved up. Fayed, you've been on a tear recently. That's great to see. And then Bap has fallen into last place at 87, 85, 58, and 1. And he went 8 and 7 last week. So keep it up, man. You're only three games behind Davin, and Davin's already 0-1 this week because he went with the Patriots.
Yes.
So the next game is the Texans versus the Bears. Who are you taking here?
I picked Chicago.
I went ahead and picked the Texans. I think it'll be a good game. Chicago's dropped 6 in a row, though. So I'm not going to pick Chicago. I picked Chicago last week. They let me down. Maybe they'll prove me wrong this week. Chicago, or the Bears versus Cincinnati. Or, excuse me, the Cowboys versus Cincinnati.
I went with Dallas.
I went with Dallas, too. Just because, Andy Dalton versus old team, and also Joe Burrow's out. So, we'll see. Chiefs-Dolphins. This one could be a good one. What do you think?
So when I first did this, I put Miami first, but I switched back to Chiefs.
Okay. I'm going to go with the Chiefs as well. The Chiefs are 7.5-point favorites, which is pretty big. But I think the Dolphins will keep it somewhat close. Cardinals and Giants. I went with the Cardinals here because I need them to win.
I put the Cardinals as well.
Vikings and Bucks. What are you taking here?
I went with the Vikings.
I really wanted to pick the Vikings, but I think Tom Brady's coming off a bye week. I got to go with him. Broncos and Panthers.
I went with Carolina.
Let me see. I went with Carolina as well. Titans and Jags. Obviously, we both went with the Titans here.
Yep.
Colts and Raiders. Now, this is going to be a good one that's going to fly under the radar. What do you think?
I went with the Colts.
I picked up on the Colts as well. I think their defense is a little too good for the Raiders. Jets, Seahawks. I think I went with the Jets here. Psych.
I went with Seattle as well.
Yes, sir. Seattle, hopefully they get back on track with that one. They're 13.5-point favorites. Packers and Lions. I went with Green Bay.
I did as well.
Not too shocking there. Saints, Eagles, not another big one. Obviously, I think we both went Saints as well.
Yes, I did.
Chargers and Falcons. What'd you think?
I went with Atlanta.
Ooh, okay. I went with the Chargers. I think Justin Herbert will get it done. Either that or, they're coming off a 45-0 loss. Hopefully they can, not lose that bad again. And then Washington and the 49ers.
I picked Washington.
I went with Washington as well. San Fran is favorited by a little bit. I think it'll be a close game, though. Steelers and Bills. I went with Buffalo here. I think Pittsburgh's going to drop 2 in a row.
I picked Buffalo as well.
Sir, I think Buffalo's – I don't know. That should be a good one, though. And then another good one on Monday night, Ravens and Browns. Who'd you go with?
I went with the Browns.
I went with the Browns as well. So I think they'll get it done, and Ravens are going to drop to 7 and 6. I do want to look at the playoff standings, though. How do you look at that?
Go to standings and then go to the right. You'll see playoffs.
I do want to see who's in right now. So Pittsburgh still got the number 1 spot. Chiefs, Bills, Titans. Ooh, Raiders are just out, and Baltimore is just out. Okay, and let's see what's down here. Ooh, Cardinals are just out. Yeah, that's basically it. Bears. And there's a bunch of 5 and 7 teams. Okay. So we're done with that. So let's hop in right into fantasy. Playoffs have started, as everybody knows. Let me go to my previous matchup before we get into the playoff matchups. I'm gonna have to go to last week. We're gonna talk about this one, just this league fight, and then we're gonna go to the playoffs, and then we're gonna talk about both leagues. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let me go to mine first. Mine was against BAP. First time I played him all year. And my team got it done. As you can see, my team dropped 158. Kind of worried though. I mean, everybody on my team played. Everybody on my team played well. Especially Travis Kelce. Yeah, so not too much to say. James Robinson did his thing. And then his team played solid as well. Just mine, played a little bit better. Not too much to say about that one. Now let's go over to your game. Take us through what happened with your team, man.
So my defense did terrible. Steelers, that's probably the worst I've ever done versus the Washington football team. AJ Brown, he did 10 points. He was okay. I always want players to hit double digits at least so I could just get a little boost. Russell Wilson underperformed by a lot. Noah Fant, that was probably the most points he's ever gotten this season. And a Young Wei Koo, the best kicker in the league.
Yes, sir. And as you know, playoffs started this week, man. So let me pull up my matchup for this week. I'm the number 1 seed going against the number 4 seed. Luckily for me, Christian McCaffrey is out again this week, which is a big blessing in both leagues, especially this one. He had Damian Harris play last night. His team is very injury plagued, so I don't know. I'm not gonna say this is a Breeze week because his team's still solid, and he has a lot of players that have a lot of high scoring potential. So we'll see. It should be a good one. I am projected to win by about 30 this week. We'll see. I don't really trust the Cowboys defense like that, but they're playing Cincy, so I'm gonna start them. We'll see. Yeah, that's all I really gotta say this week. I'm excited to get into the playoffs. And we'll have a recap next week for halfway point because the playoffs last 2 weeks for the games. So this is also Fayed's team, which he's the number 3 seed versus the number 2 seed. He's only the number 3 seed because he's in my division, and we're both 11-2. I just have more points scored. So what does your team have to do to win this matchup?
My team is very. Tyreek Hill needs to go off this week. I mean, he needs to light it up this week versus Miami. Jonathan Taylor needs to get it done versus the Raiders. Russell Wilson needs to have his like a week 1, week 2 game. Justin Jefferson is projected to do great. Washington defense, I hope they can sack Nick Mullins about 5 times. And again, Young Wei Koo, best kicker in the league. I hope he gets at least probably 14 or 15 points this week.
Yes, sir. So playoff matchup. Your matchup looks to be a close one, honestly.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that pans out. At the halfway point next week, and then we also got another league. If I could get to it. Where can I gotta move this? That we're both also in the playoffs for. This one, I'm the number 2 seed, and you're the number 1 seed, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm the number 2 seed. You're the number 1 seed. Even though I don't know how I fell to the 2 seed, but before that, I'm not going to talk about our matchups last week. I'm just going to talk about the playoff. So I won that game to get into the playoffs, and then I got the number 1 seed in the division. So my dogs are barking. If you can't hear that, can you hear that?
Yeah.
I'm trying to ignore that. Yeah, but it should be a good one. As I said, he has McCaffrey as well on his bench. Good for me. He's surprisingly sitting. Okay, he has Justin Herbert. I just realized that he's sitting Murray, but Murray's playing the Giants, who have a good defense. Yeah, I'm scared about starting Devontae Booker. So I might pick up another running back or start Melvin Gordon. I'm not too sure yet. Maybe Todd Gurley. But we'll see. Hopefully, McLaurin puts up more numbers than he did last week, and Michael Thomas can put up some numbers for me. But his team's good. So I am projected to win. Wait, no, I'm not. I was projected to win. Oh, wait, why is Devontae Booker? I got to switch out Booker. Because apparently, I guess Josh Jacobs is about to start. So I do got to switch out Booker. I just noticed. But I was projected to win. But now it'll probably be about even. So we'll see. It should be close. Luckily for me, McCaffrey's out, but he might not be out next week. So that might be the killer. We'll see. My team compared to the other league in this league, I drafted more wide receiver heavy. So it's not as good. But we got the number 1 seed in our division, so I don't know. And your team already has 40 points, so just take me through.
So the Rams did amazing yesterday. They sacked Cam Newton. Cooper Kupp did good. Damian Harris got injured in the third quarter. That's why I think I'll be fine. I mean, I got D Hop and Darren Waller playing, so I'm really hoping they can step up. Keenan Allen really didn't do much last week. I need him to step up too. And Patrick Mahomes, I need him to have like 5 touchdowns this week, to win.
Yeah, it should be good. I mean, we'll see. Both of the matchups, you are supposed to win by a little bit this week, but we'll see. Yeah. Should be a good one all around the board. I think that's basically it. You wanna bring up anything else?
So I gotta add one more thing. So hey, everybody, like our subscribers and stuff, everybody got to shout this girl out. So there's this one girl, and she will not like or comment on these videos, guys. You need to pump her up, and I'm gonna make sure she when she likes and subscribes to this video, by the way. So I'm gonna just let you guys know that.
Yes, sir. She better. Hey, she better. We'll be keeping track of the comments just because of that now. But as always, thank you for watching. This was the 12th episode. Be prepared for more. Now, my college is about to end, so we'll be, doing it in more of a timely manner. This one's coming out a little bit late. It's probably going to come out Saturday afternoon, so they usually come out either Thursday or Friday, so sorry about that, but, better late than never. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Keep watching us, man. Big things are coming, I got to tell you. Yes, as always, I'm Logan. That's my co-host. Peace out, y'all.
Peace out, guys.